Going to be making a holly leaf pin. Using an H hook. You're just going to need some green and red yarn. So you're going to start with green yarn. We're going to make 2 leaves. And you're going to chain 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you're single crochet into the first stitch. Your next stitch is going to be a double crochet and then a picot. So chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, and then you're going to go in through here and pull through. There's your picot. And then to the next stitch, you're going to slip stitch. And then you're going to repeat. Another double crochet. And then a chain 3 picot. 1, 2, 3. And then you go in here to complete the picot, pull it through, and then a slip stitch. And then another double crochet. 1, 2, double, a chain 3 picot, 1, 2, 3, and through here to complete the picot. So that is one side. We're now at the end. So at the end you're going to slip stitch into the same stitch. You're going to do a double crochet, then a chain 3 picot, 1, 2, 3, and then a slip stitch, all into that very tip, the very last stitch. And now we're going down the other side, and so your stitches should be the opposite of where they're at. So across from my last double crochet on the side is going to be another double crochet. So that's the first stitch on the side. I'm going to go over my tail while I'm at it. So it's a double crochet with a chain 3 picot, 1, 2, 3. And then a slip stitch, which is right across from my other slip stitch, to make it a mirror image. And then a double crochet. It's a right across from my other double crochet. At the top of that, the chain 3 picot, 1, 2, 3, and then a slip stitch, and then a double crochet, and then a chain 3 picot at the top, and then finish with a slip stitch. Cut off a tail to help sew them together later. Pull through so it doesn't unravel. That's your first leaf. You need to make 2. Now we're going to make the berry part. We're going to start with a magic circle in red, still using an H hook. We're going to do 3 single crochets into our magic circle. And then we're going to do 2 single crochets in each one. So you have a total of 6 in the second round. Three, 4, 5, and 6. Because we're using so few stitches, it does kind of turn in on itself. I like to do an extra, just single crochet over to help kind of sturdy up where the row is, and then I will cut this, pull it through, and I leave the tail a little bit longer because when we go to assemble it, you'll see why. So you're going to need 3 of these. Right, now we're on to assembly. So since I went over the tails, I usually go over the tails to the end. This one I did not. Bring the tail all the way down. I tie them off. Move the stuff out of my way. With the longer tails off each one, you're going to sew them together. You can sew them side by side. Like this. Or I like to overlap it because it makes stitching it easier because you just go straight through. Now with these, I take my longer of the 2 tails because I know that was my outside tail. My shorter one was the inside of the magic circle. And I'm going to weave in and out of the last row to create a drawstring effect. I'm going to take my tail, my tail from the center of my magic circle, and shove it into my berry. Before I pull my drawstring. Now I'm pulling as I'm tucking in, and sometimes when you're sewing, the tails will pop out and you might want to cut it. Then I'm going to attach, and I'm going to go around the edging as best I can. I'm going to do at least one that goes all the way up through the center and down to hold the berry in place. See, I got a little loose over here, so I'm going to come up, grab an edge, and bring it back down. And then I can take my tail, that's one berry. Something, because if you cut it off too short, it could come undone. Most likely not, but it could happen. Oops. See, this tail I did not leave long enough because it fell off my needle. But it's it's long enough that I can still get it sewn on, just not long enough that makes it easy. Just like it does not want to thread right now for some reason. I keep splitting the yarn when I thread it. There we go. Alright. So, the benefits and the downside, if you don't have a long enough tail, you are going to struggle with sewing it in. You can always add another tail, or another piece to sew it in with. Just make sure you take the tail that you have and bind it off enough or it won't come undone. You can also use regular sewing thread too. Alright, remember I want to come at least one that comes up in the center and comes back down. And then I check to make sure where the edges are loose, if any. Let's see. Definitely want a longer tail than whatever I had on this one. It's too short. That's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Still long enough I can make it work. Just frustrating. Alright, now I'm gonna... let's see. I'm going to use a slightly smaller hook just to weave in the edge. Just because I have this one at my disposal versus trying to mess with that hook, the needle again. Alright, so lesson learned, make sure you leave a longer tail than I did. Alright, last berry. Do the same thing as the other two. Weave in and around the edges. You'll create a drawstring effect. Then you take your shorter tail and you shove it in there. Pull it tight. And I didn't quite give my leaves as much angle as I normally do, but that's okay. Alright, remember to come up to the center. You can do this a couple times actually if you'd like. I just think it helps tack it down a little bit better. If you do, when you do go up to the center, if you pull down too tight, you will pinch your berry down that spot. Alright, now I'm going to take my tail as I lose it again. And weave in my ends. Cut my tail off. See, that one's a little bit better. Later I'll be adding pins for them.